All right, y'all. So today's message is coming through really strongly with ancestral protection, okay? Spiritual protection, but I'm feeling really specifically ancestral. We have the Ancestral Guardians of Light card here, and this is really giving this energy of being so protected. Something has happened in your life recently that has been a death moment, like a transformational moment. Or experience. Oh, wow, we have death twice. I didn't even realize death reversed twice. So this process of transformation that you've been through, or maybe you have experienced death in like an actual practical sense in your life, not metaphorical, like you have actually lost something or lost someone, and you've been in a process of grieving. And the death reverse card is here to say that there has been, I'm really feeling a sense of like an inability to deal with the ending or a resistance against the ending to some degree. This could be also a resistance against a spiritual transformation of some kind, like an internal transformation that you know is here, you know it's the time for it, and there's things shifting in your life that are reflecting this shift, but there's been resistance towards that in some way. And I'm really also getting that this resistance is not it's not always something that we are intentionally doing. Sometimes we're resisting transformation because of many factors that are both personal, mental, like psychological and psychosomatic, but they're also spiritual things. Like there are karmas or past life experiences that make certain lessons really, really difficult to deal with, or certain transformations in our waking life now really difficult to hold. So the Ancestral Guardians of Light card is here to remind us that to remind you specifically that you're being like ushered through this transformational phase in a way that you may not be aware of, because there's so much pain. There's so much, it's almost like you're buried. Like that's what I'm really getting with the death reversed, is like you are currently feeling a little or a lot buried or burdened with the experience of this transformation. So you're getting a little bit, you're feeling a little lost in the underworld, or you have recently been feeling lost in the underworld. And you've been, it's like you're trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like you're being swirled around in a whirlpool or falling deep into the void. And trying to look around and keep your eyes peeled for that light that you know will sort of prompt the ending of this experience, or will prompt a way out. And that is not quite showing itself yet. And I have so much compassion for this. It's like you, and it's not just me, it's like your spirit team, your ancestors, people in spirit are actually here to hold you, like wings around you is what I'm really seeing. Like they're here, there's like a bubble of protection around you that you're not aware of, but you have to be aware of now. Like this, what this message is saying is that you are safe, because this is all part of your emerging, or your re-emerging. This is all part of like a re-emergence back into your joy, back into life. And it's going to be so good on the other side. You just have to, this is what is actually calling for surrender. Really interestingly, because it's like I was just listening to Salt readings today, this channel called Salt. If you are interested, go check out their readings. But they were talking about the difference between tests and surrender in one of the readings. And I do find that really interesting, in that like tests are these moments where we get to, it's like we revisit a situation in order to see how we're going to respond, like, so if we think, it's like subconsciously, energetically, we call these experiences in to rise to the occasion, to take a different road or to make a different choice, or at least open the opportunity for that. But a surrender is like when we are currently in a place that is aligned, but we don't really know where to go or what to do next. And so we surrender to the flow, right? So what I'm really getting, and I think it's like why I was listening to those readings this morning and then we're getting this message, is really interesting. Because it's like, while you're experiencing a grief or a transformational experience like this, you think that you're dying, right? Like you think that there's something that is being fucked with, or that like you're not going to emerge from. But this, even though it's painful, even though it caused loss, even though it involves grieving, the experience was aligned, or the choice that needed to be made was aligned, or the thing that happened is what needed to be. And I'm not saying that if you lost someone, like you actually literally lost a human being that you loved in your life, that was somehow meant to be. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that in some way, let's just leave that situation aside, because I don't want to talk about that. If that's something that you went through, I don't want to get involved in that at all, because I don't want to make a statement on it, is what I'm saying. Let's say this is a lifestyle change, a relationship ending, just huge internal shift that you've experienced recently that makes you see life differently. And it's making you realize that your life has to change, or that you need to leave a certain place. These are alignment shifts that cause loss. And so even though it feels painful, it's still alignment. It's still absolutely exactly what needs to be happening, because pain and loss is part of living fully. And so you are being asked to surrender. It's like you reached a test. You quote unquote passed a test, meaning you rose to the occasion in a way that your soul needed you to stay aligned. And now you have to surrender to this experience of falling into the unknown, or of being buried in darkness, or of walking through the night. Like, there is a dark night of the soul, but it's not really a dark night of the soul. It feels like that, but it's actually alignment. It's actually beautiful. And so we have 4 of Wands in reverse here. This is where you're at now, or you're about to be really getting into this energy, which is emerging, right? Like, we're emerging back through ourselves. There's like a revisiting of the self that has happened here, and it's like caused a checkpoint internally where you've had to fall back into yourself, rely on yourself, and like it's almost like travel through your own psyche and nervous system and body to remember your own joy and remember why you're doing this in the first place. Remember the truth. The 4 of Wands for me is very much like a heart opening kind of a card. It has a lot to do with heart chakra for me. And it also, of course, symbolizes like marriages and celebrations, but there's always this energy of part way along. It's like a stopping along the road. You know, we fed this fairy tale, Disney fairy tale story of like when the princess and the prince meet and they kiss for the first time and they get married, and then that's the end of the story, right? The 4 of Wands to me is the flipping of that narrative in. It's almost like maturing that narrative, showing that moment of union, that moment of commitment, that moment of celebration is not the end. It's actually a new beginning. It's a transition point. It's a point where we shift into a new era of our lives. And it's just one marked point that's beautiful, a beautiful marked point along the road that then, and it specifically speaks to a road that involves love, that involves celebration, that involves life force, that involves community and comfort and warmth. So I'm really seeing that what's happening here specifically is moving from this energy of feeling lost and feeling burdened and cold and dark in this death process, this death energy, and emerging back into the warmth of community. Because look at this, 3 of Cups. This is specifically the energy that we're moving into. So this is like communal celebration, reintegration, collaborative environments, and co-regulation is what I'm getting. Co-regulation is so healing, and it will be so healing for you, having experienced things that have just left you. Look at this, 9 of Wands, 9 of Swords. What has left you in the past, not left you, but you've experienced so many things in your past that have made you at this point feel like you don't know if you can actually like trust the world or you can trust others. But that energy is being left behind in this process, this grieving process, and reemerging through your own heart space, because you know that the truth is not this wallowing in despair. It's in fact love again, always love again. And because you are aligned, deep, like really, like truly aligned, even though it feels hard or it has felt really scary and hard, you are incredibly aligned. And so it's moving you towards relationships, environments, and spaces that are actually reflective of your alignment. But there had to be a death process. There had to be something that was killed out. And what was killed out was a situation or many situations or an energy that you were in that was consistently causing you grief, anxiety, mental turmoil, mental strain. So the grieving process is natural. You are being guided through this whole process with your actual ancestors. Like there are people from, I'm really getting that it really is ancestors. It's family. It might be grandparents, grandmothers, a parent who's passed over, but it could be deeper ancestors that you don't even know that are here, because it's about your family lineage. It's about you healing a lineage of like, not really DNA, but like, you know, maybe in some ways, like actually, you know, healing the genetic structure of this branch of humans that has, you know, culminated in you. And you're here to actually process this grief, to actually process these patterns, these karmas, because you're strong enough and you have this spiritual support that's here to really, really support you, truly support you through this. Like you are, in a sense, the one who has the capacity to do this. And you have the resources for it as well, right? And that's why there's so much healing energy going on in our current collective and in our culture, in the West at least, is just like, I mean, it's all over, but I just mean like in, you know, I'm in Canada. Let's just talk about the North American kind of like wellness and spiritual health interest. And there's a lot of this going on across the board, and that's because we are in a time in our world where we actually have the resources and the technology and the connective abilities to actually unlock, or to actually, let's say not unlock, but to face these kinds of things and to actually transmute them, to actually change them. This is like becoming much more available for many more people, especially women. So if this is something that has been, I mean, there's a little girl here. So if you are a feminine being and you identify as being a woman to some degree, or healing wounds that have to do with feminine experience or women's experiences, then this is definitely your reading. This is specifically for you, because women have not historically had the ability, in large part, across the board, to face the horrors that they were being forced to, you know, live out again and again and again. They didn't have the ability, they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the freedom to do this. And you are now given this opportunity in your life. So it's a point of answering the call. This is like spiritual leadership that you are a part of. It is empowerment, and it is a gift of your soul. This is a soul gift that you have to do this kind of work, to do this kind of processing, and then to re-emerge in joy. Look at how this is so incredibly beautiful. So we're moving from death reversed, which is, like I said, I explained this energy. This is not a clean, I mean, it is clean because it's pure. Like there's nothing evil about this at all. But the death reversed is like, it is a down and dirty process. This is looking at your shadow. This is dealing with other people's shadows. This is going down into the depths of the spiritual heart of the world, of the bowels of the goddess, and allowing her to show you darkness so that you can emerge again with more freedom. That heavy spiritual energy transmutes into the Three of Cups. This is like sublimation. This is like sublimating from dense dirt into light. It's like dirt transforming into light. There's nothing wrong with the dirt. The dirt is sacred. The dirt is what holds our bodies up. And it's also where we bury things. It's where we hide things. It's also where where things go to die and to be transmuted and to become nourishment. This is like deeply sacred stuff. The dirt, right? The earth, which we all come from and then return to. And then this Three of Cups is like this airy, cultured and light. I'm just really seeing sunlight in the blue sky, and I'm really hearing these people just like having a good time. This is just re-emerging back into daily life, but in a way that is so easy, so celebratory, so happy, so focused on just like not falling back into old patterns in a weird way and not disregarding the spiritual, but re-emerging back into sacred mundaneness, the sacred mundane. So we go from this sacred depth, sacred spirituality of like understanding deep truths about yourself and the world, and then re-emerging back into the mundane in a way where you are refreshed. You're refreshed and you are reconnecting to your heart, or you have reconnected to your own heart, to your own joy. And then that also opens up these beautiful spaces, these beautiful like experiences of recalibration and, what did I say before? Co-regulation with others. So that's really beautiful. So there's an energy here too of potential. Okay, so we have the bud. It says potential, promise, it's about to happen, keep going. This is like what your spirit team, this protective energy that's around you, is telling you, which is do not give up. Okay, do not get lost in an illusion that this darkness that you're experiencing and walking through right now is somehow an annihilation for you, is somehow the end. It's not the end. It's so not the end at all. You are meant to walk this path, and you will get through it because you are protected, like I said, with like a bubble of light around you. So if there needs to be just a dirty process of grieving, if you just need to like get it out of your body and like howl and cry and scream and do that, be wild and feral with it. We need to be actually more compassionate to that side of our humanity. When you lose something, the reason it's hard to deal with the ending sometimes is because of your beautiful animal body that is still attached to the experience, to the memory of having that thing or being in that state or having that person in your life. Your nervous system is responding to not having that anymore, to being in a void without it. There is something so wonderful about that because it allows for seeds to be planted, for the true thing to be more visible. Allow yourself to feel through it, but actually appreciate that what you're experiencing is fucked. It's totally fucked. And that's okay. And you can express that. You can totally express that. You might not want to let yourself so out of control that you make a decision that, just makes things harder on yourself. But if you're staying in tune with your body and you have healthy outlets for the grief and the experience of this grief, like through art making or through like punching pillows or through like just finding safe spaces to get the energy out in a way that feels authentic, then that is a healthy thing to do. I'm just saying that would be beneficial. So the processing of this past is still happening. Meanwhile, you are also in alignment and in this like sparkly energy that's drawing you forth. So there's no need to feel like you are not there yet, is what I'm saying. Yes, this card is in the position of like future, of near future, of like where you're about to step into. But that's why I'm seeing this and feeling this like physically, that it's actually part of your aura now. It's part of your auric field now. So yes, there's like this energy of the bud, of like something budding, something being sort of like at the early stages. But it also means that it is present. It is here. And it's coming from you. Like it's your own energy. It's your own light. And yes, Two of Pentacles, this is a balance between these two very sacred energies of darkness and dirt. I was going to say filth, but it's like, it really is that. It's like the heavy energy of like the sludge of moving through real experiences, like having to embody real processes of death and rebirth. And what that requires of us and how it requires us not to bypass those aspects of it. And also this like beautiful spiritual and like it's a beautiful spiritual energy of light and intellect and warmth and buoyancy. So like all of these things are true and they are all part of your spiritual experience right now. Your human experience right now, your embodied life, your real life. This is what's happening. And it's exactly, it's like you're, actually, I'm being called not to say it's exactly as it should be. You're in the right place where you need to be right now. I'm finding that that's like really annoying. That's what I'm really feeling. It's like, that's actually like, it doesn't matter if that's the case or not. That's what I'm hearing. It's like, it doesn't matter whether that's true or not. All that matters is that this is where you are right now. And to remember, I think this is the main thing, is to allow yourself to, like I said, not shame yourself for the down and dirty experience of dealing with grief and emotional filth and shadow and pain and fear. Don't feel shame about that. Like, allow it and respect it for what it is. It's really important stuff. It's so juicy, actually. And also to remember that your joy and your recalibration and this beautiful light energy is actually in you, or it's in and around you now. So it's accessible to you now as well. And that being able to have both experiences is natural because you're able to hold these truths, hold this nuance, balance these energies back and forth in the way that they need to be, so that they can both be explored and honored. What you're actually doing then is truly moving through that death reversed. You're truly moving through the transition, because if you don't honor it, you will subconsciously like never move through it. You'll actually get stuck. Whereas like what you're doing is truly looking at things as they need to be looked at, truly feeling things, feeling all of it, and allowing yourself to still go towards the light and allowing yourself to still expand. And in that process of balance, you emerge slowly and more towards the light. The light starts to take a greater and grander role in your life, basically, in this process. And you find yourself kind of just existing more in this Three of Cups energy, where you're just like, this is now where I am. It's like we're moving from feeling like this is where we are with the death into like through the portal of the heart chakra, through the portal of the body. There's this reopening again and again. That's the function. And the more you do that, the more you find this light. You reconnect with the light, and then you come down and you reconnect with the light. And I think this has a lot to do with, I think, community, like in your real life, like friendships that are really nurturing and nourishing and fun, but also activities that make you feel happy and joyous, and connecting with your spirit team. This is what I'm also getting to, is like connecting with what spiritually makes you feel really like just buoyant in love. Okay, is that the reading? Do we have any other messages? Okay, Six of Swords. Yeah, this is the end. This is the transition point, the moving on. You may not have wanted to leave this past behind. It may be feeling like you're being dragged out of something, or you're being dragged away from one part of your life, one experience, one phase into another. You may be partially ready for it, partially grateful, and at the same time mourning the loss of that home, mourning the loss of that place, of that person, of that thing, of that way of being. This is moving across the river Styx, right? This is moving literally through the river of death, being ferried across the river of death. And that does have with it, you know, there's an energy of being almost a refugee, of feeling like you are being forced to leave a homeland. Let's say we're in a relationship, or in a job setting, or we're in an environment that at one point was home. It was beautiful, it was working, or it was like reflecting something back to us that was beneficial or supportive or loving in some way. And something happens where it changes. Either it changes, something internally within that situation shifts so that it becomes dangerous for us now, or something external comes in and damages, like sets that setting on fire, uproots the stability that we had. I mean, that's classic tower moment. But what I'm getting with the Six of Swords here is like, sometimes, you know, we think, where are these people coming from? We know where they're going. They're going towards what looks like a safer land, calmer waters. And that where they're coming from was chaotic. But it's like, let's be honest with ourselves about, was that land before always chaotic, or was it not always chaotic? Or was it, you know what I mean? Like sometimes there's a breaking point where we are forced to leave. And sometimes that place that we're leaving, it became dangerous. So we had to leave. And that's worth acknowledging. It's also worth acknowledging that sometimes we associate home with danger. Most people on this planet have attachment wounds and have problems in relationship because home was not a stable place. Home was not a safe place for us growing up. And so our relationships in particular, and our work environments are not often talked about, but they are totally related to attachment wounding and often reflect our patterns in relationship as well. But yeah, we can be in certain environments that mimic what feels like home, or that it feels like home because it has certain dangerous components to it, right? So at a certain point when we've kind of like, maybe we've healed a lot, or we've spiritually grown to a certain extent, or we have like broadened our capacity to a certain level, and then that has a fallout effect of like, well, now I literally cannot stay in this semi-dangerous home environment anymore, because I have somehow energetically emerged from that. I've somehow energetically now require actually more safety. And so this thing that feels like home, the only home I've ever known, I have to leave. And that is intense. That's going to be scary. That's going to be sad, because you don't know yet what the other place is. You don't know yet. You don't have the proof yet of what can be truly safe. You've never been in truly safe before, right? So you need to have compassion for yourself if this is something that you're going through. You're in the boat. You're taking the boat across right now. You still haven't got to full safety. You still haven't got to co-regulation with the home and the people and the environment and the job, the whatever, the community that actually feeds you, that actually supports you. You don't know what that's like yet. So have the compassion for yourself that you need to have. Do not shame yourself for feeling like you're going to tear your body apart in grief. Like, you allow yourself to feel the feelings, outlet them in healthy ways. Make sure that you're not destroying yourself or others in this process, while also allowing yourself to feel like you want to, like, it's okay. It's natural. And you are protected by the light. You are protected by your ancestors. Connect with them. Any process of ancestral connection, that could just be cooking food from your heritage, even if it's far back, allowing yourself to learn something new about those cultures, learn something new about the people that came before you, learn about the people just a few generations back, how they were living, your grandparents, how they were living. Ask questions if you can. These are ways to connect to ancestors. Also, land. Book a trip to a place where you feel connected to. Go out and to touch the earth. Because you are going through an earthy process right now, and you can really benefit from digging your hands, your fingers into soil, because you are soil right now. So do some gardening. Plant a seed with a wish. Plant a seed with a blessing. A blessing to those that came before you. A blessing to those who were buried in the earth, that have given their bodies to benefit new growth. I mean, that's a beautiful, I might do that. That sounds like a good idea. That's your message. And I'm going to leave that here. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you've been here till the end, I'm so grateful. There are ways to work with me. Check out the description box below. If not, I just am so happy to have you here and to see you around next time, hopefully. Bye. Blessings to you.